Holla, what's up?
What's up, Anthony Hamilton, my celebrity life, GeHolla.
Shout out to Ge Holla, reaching 1 million listeners on his podcast, My Celebrity Life, resetting the bar.
What's up, Ge Holla? This your boy Genuine. Shout out to you.
Y'all, this Master P, and shout out to Ge Holla of My Celebrity Life, the show.
Ge Holla, check this. I know we didn't get to speak at the spot that we was at together, but look, man, keep going, keep doing your thing.
Ge Holla, I hope you're doing well. I hope all is fine with you and family. I'm glad you enjoyed my films.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor, it's my pleasure, it's my privilege to introduce our next guest of the cast of this wonderful play. This young lady right here is a R&B sensation. She is the essence of that whole 90s vibe. You know what I'm saying? Monifah, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So sweet. It's a long time. It's a long time. I'm here to talk about specifically one of the most fun things that I've been doing in my career in a while, as far as the acting and my theater is concerned, which is one of my first loves, and at the house. But before I get to that, I don't know if you know that I'm celebrating 30 years. My personal experiences have been a little different because it was more, both people, just a toxic situation. Not more like, I don't want to say abuse is abuse because it can be a two-way thing. But I can't speak to, you asked me to speak to the signs of, and quite honestly, if it doesn't feel okay, it's probably not okay. If at your core, gutturally, your gut instincts usually, you know when it's not right, when you just know. And if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel safe, then it probably isn't. That is what I can offer, for sure.
No, thank you for that.
I guess we're speaking about abuse because the show is Man of the House, directed by Andre Davis, written, produced, starring Andre Davis and myself, and a wonderful cast of talented actors and singers and performers. Is telling the story of abuse, of domestic physical abuse, emotional abuse, not just mostly mental, physical, emotional, that he's receiving at the hands of his girlfriend. And it's a perspective that we don't even talk about societally as much as we should, because it happens. It's extremely prevalent. Men often do not report or don't have the words or the support even, or even the dialogue to share it. They end up embarrassed. They keep it to themselves. It's only if it's, physical, where it's like if a woman is actually, which happens very much, happens a lot as well, is beating you up, and you end up really hurt. The man ends up really hurt. Even in those instances, they'll still try to protect the woman. I think it has a lot to do with how we're wired as the male and female sex. So, and then, what society offers. So
She went out.
this is, sharing a story of a mental from the purview of the man being the victim, so to speak. Don't want to be in my house. All right, I'm so sorry. There we go. All right, I'm just going to stay in the house. This is weird. It's so weird.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
It's okay. All right. Kimmy D, I have a co-host, Monifah. She's going to ask a couple of questions. Kimmy D, ask a couple of questions. We're going to just keep her between 5 and 7 minutes.
Okay. So I don't know if it's already been asked, but I'm going to just jump in there. What was it about this story that made you want to be a part of this?
Thank you for asking that, because I always just share that, because when I went to audit the show, when I was invited, when Andre shared interest in having me, I went to audit the show and I was blown away. I was blown away, one, by the writing. I was blown away by the music that was in the show. It was all done so well. It was the balance of music and how it moved the show forward. But the most alluring thing was playing this character, playing this role. I had never played a character that was so far removed from who I am as a person in my core. And she's like, she's just rotten. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course she has a backstory, and I couldn't play her if I didn't understand that and give life and grace and some understanding to bring her to life. But I had never played a character like this. So I just, I was really, really, really I was really drawn to it for the playing Casey and playing this type of role.
So I'm gonna do like go a little backwards and go forward. So for those who don't know you and knowing that you came from the music side of things in the early
Mhm.
90s and then you transitioned into acting, what has been the hardest part with transitioning and reestablishing yourself in the industry in a different area?
Well, quite honestly, I've been a professional since 7, and I've been acting and singing since I was 7. I did commercials, off Broadway. So I became known as a singer first, as a recording artist, with Moves and Moments. But it wasn't hard. It was actually just going back to something that I loved. When I went to music and art high school, and I got in for both vocal and drama. I decided to go for drama. I mean, vocal voice, because that was my first love, right? Um, but transitioning was kind of simple, because when urban theater became really popular, I was solicited, to do a role in Jacarius Johnson's first show. And it happened to be one of my favorite books that I had read, by Michael Baisden, Men Cry in the Dark, where I was casted alongside, some people that I love dearly and had grown up with and have, some of my friends. So like Christopher Williams, Alan Payne. I had the pleasure of working with Richard Roundtree. So the transition wasn't hard at all. And it almost didn't happen because I was kind of an elitist when it came to like theater. And before I even knew what show it was, I was like, I just thought about the chitlin circuits,
Yeah.
things, and not that not knocking them, because I get it. But for me, it was just like, I thought it was gonna be, oh Mama Lord, like, one of those. And I was like, I
Yeah.
just didn't want to do that. From what I had seen, it didn't speak to me as an artist, as a theater person, right? So I said no. And he was like, you sure? And I was like, well, what is it? And then he told me all the things. I said, oh my gosh, I love that book. And the character happened to be one of my favorite characters from the show, from the book, that I ended up playing. So it was an easy transition, thankfully. And then once I did Men Cry in the Dark, once you start doing stuff and people start seeing you and they know you're, doing theater, you're going to get the calls.
And so back to Man of the House for a second. Why
Yeah.
do you think this story is so important to tell, and what do you want people to get out of it?
Well, I would love for people to see, what I know that they get out of it, just by way of speaking to the audiences that we've went up in front of. We speak to, we have meetings and meet and greets after mostly every show. So we get the feedback. I mean, sometimes people don't even like talking to me. They really be they really be mad at me. That's so funny.
Yeah.
But what people see themselves, and sometimes, or see people they love, or and be like, and maybe are able to step in, or one woman saw herself in my role. She saw herself, and she was like, I was like that. And she had shared a little bit of her journey. But what people will get is that we have to open the conversation for men also. It's about people being abused, not just man or woman, because it happens on both ends. And although it happens slightly less, or I can say is underreported because men don't report the same way women do. There's a different, again, socially, it's a difference the way it's looked upon, right? Men are supposed to be the providers, so they don't really have the support, in my opinion, lack of a better word, right now, um, to feel comfortable, to not feel emasculated in doing so. And I think for me, it's for women to understand that you got to pay attention to your the men folk in your life, the men that you care about and love, and check on them and ask certain questions. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you see something weird coming from a situation he may be in.
And so with the younger people dating and being exposed to social media and so forth, and not abuse is not always just physical, you have emotional, mental, and
Yeah,
all of that. Is there
yeah.
any kind of tips or advice or even words of wisdom that you would give to those teenagers who are now trying to get into dating? Because there is a growing number of what we call toxicity, which toxicity really means abuse in their relationship navigation.
Well, I would I mean, I know this is like talking to a wall. I mean, because we have hormonal things
Yeah.
where at a certain age, at the age that we start being interested in the opposite sex, or say whatever it is, right? And feeling romantic feelings for people, it's hormonal. So I would suggest, honestly, um probably keeping your body to yourself as much as you can. Not and this goes for both males and females. Um, not just not just jumping into things just for the sake of jumping into them, because it's a feeling. Because sometimes I can remember, I'm gonna keep it on me, growing up, all these raging hormones, plus, things that you're dealing with at home. If it's weird, or it's, you're running, you don't want to listen to mom and you think you're grown, it just affects the brain chemistry. Just I would say it is not about purity, because I don't believe in purity politics, but it's about your energy, your
Yeah.
spirit. All of those things matter. um Protect that. I think that you can get to know people, because once you exchange serum, as they say, especially if it's just based on just raw just physicality,
Yeah.
getting something off, so to speak. You can find yourself in situations that and emotional situations that you're not prepared for, that your brain and your emotional intelligence is not prepared for. So just as much as you can, I would suggest trying to get to know people before you jump into the sack with them, you know, um, and as young people, for sure. And don't spread yourself too thin. It's okay to be friends and get to know somebody. It's really okay.
And so I'm just gonna leave it with this, just like for if you have any more dates, could you tell everybody how where they can see it, where they can view it at, or anything that you might have upcoming?
Well, you can follow me on TheMonifh on all social media platforms. I'm an IG girl. I do a little Facebook. I always place all of my shows on my page. Um, for Man of the House, the stage play, we will be at the Howard Theater in DC this Saturday, August 22nd, for 2 shows. So if you're in the DMV area, come through. You can go to adiamondent.com for all the rest of the show dates that we have through from now through October, going, I think maybe November actually. You can get all the dates. We will be hitting Philly, Chicago, and the other city is escaping me right now. But you can go to adiamondent.com and get all the dates for Man of the House, the stage play. Hey, what's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Monifah, and you are watching My Celebrity Life with GeHolla and Kimmy D. Peace.